Hey, it's Glenn Arthur here. This series of videos and podcasts, it's about opinions, views, it's about reflecting on my 30 years of professional experience working in local and regional economic development. And their aim is really to improve policy and practice in the future. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time reflecting on my experience over the past 30 years of practice and working in local and regional economic development. The first kind of observation is the more things change, the more they stay the same, if you like. You can change the policies, the institutions, you can change the labels for local economic development, but the challenges keep piling up and they won't solve themselves unless you tackle them head on with policy. And new challenges are added, such as COVID-19 and climate change. If you don't address the underlying weaknesses and vulnerabilities in local and regional economies, they won't solve themselves. They'll just continue and probably get worse. Another reflection is that governance and structures will never be perfect. No matter how much you rename them or rearrange them or change them, it's really about, at the end of the day, were you any good? Did you deliver positive change and make an impact? Dealing with the public sector bureaucracy, it's here to stay. You've got to learn to manage it and get on with it. Having an effective strategy means it's deliverable and it can be actioned. And another thing that strikes me is I can't believe how much people have been ignored in local and regional economic development and restructuring. In my view, people have been a lot more resilient to economic change than capital. For example, if we look at some of the physical regeneration projects over the past 30 years, a lot of them are now becoming redundant because they're based on retail development in inner city areas. So I think more investment in people and communities is warranted. This will build productivity, resilience, and sustainability. In some recent work I've been doing, it's clear that in the UK, we're even deeper into this patchwork quilt of policies, objectives, grants, and services. There's no clear national policy for levelling up or local economic development or solving these economic disparities. And there's no joining up of national policy silos either. The economy, science, technology, planning, investment, and transport and climate change, the policies all operate separately and are all funded separately. The UK is one of the most centralised countries in the world. In terms of government functions, services, and taxation, it's clearly not working. England spends 1.15 billion per year on levelling up or trying to address local and regional economic disparities. If we compare that to Germany's reunification of East and West Germany, £30 billion per year was spent on East Germany. In my view, government's failed and centralisation has failed. So, what are the lessons we can draw for the next UK government? Because the UK election was being announced for July 2024, and it's most likely we're going to have a different political party in control, and they'll take a different approach. Maybe we'll adopt sustainable development goals and take a more integrated, holistic approach to local and regional economies. Maybe we can take a transformative placemaking framework and approach. What does a great policy for addressing local and economic inequalities look like? Well, in my experience, it's poor to have no vision or objectives for the national economy or national policies, which is clear. It's poor to have national policies which don't join up or integrate. It's poor to invent partnerships and agencies and structures without having a clear rationale or reason or idea of what their function is. It's clear that if you put small amount of resources into some of these policies, which you say is going to solve regional disparities, it's not going to be enough. It's clear it's a long-term challenge, so short-term policy solutions aren't suitable. And it's clear that local government in the UK, they have they're accountable. They've got good assurance and financial controls, but they're just not don't seem to be used by central government. Um, and it's clear that there needs to be a community of practice. What makes for a great policy? Well, I think you need clear objectives, and you need a bias towards delivery to getting things done. The first 100 days of a levelling up policy for the new government should be about delivering for the next 4 years. And you need bold responses because the challenges are significant and they've been getting more challenging. And you need to break out of this funding and policy regime dominated by the electoral cycle. Every 3, 4, 5 years, it's just not long enough for a policy to actually make a difference to local and regional economic disparities. Maybe you should put local and regional impact appraisals at the heart of Whitehall's policy process as well. You definitely need to better align policies, for example, the economy and climate change, or housing and climate change. Perhaps instead of the piecemeal approach to local devolution of the past 10 years, we need to have established the menu of policies, powers, and tools and resources, and let local government draw them down as they see fit. You definitely need to invest in and develop the community of practice. If you want to make bold progress in local and regional economic disparities, you need people with the skills and capabilities to do that, and you need organizations to do that. And I think you're going to have to encourage policy experimentation, and recognize, we don't have all the answers. There are probably better ways of doing things, but unless we're allowed to experiment and find out, we'll never know. I think even better, we need to start learning from the past and applying these lessons. We're going around in circles. We're not learning from past experience. We just seem to be reinventing bad policy. So thanks for listening. There's 2 series of podcasts or videos available. Series 1 looks at the foundations of local and regional economic development, gives you all the basic knowledge you need to know to understand what it's about and what it involves. Series 2 is about debates. It's about informing policy and practice in the future, and they're all available on YouTube, at Glenathi, or at the website mylocaleconomy.org.